section. Fit the runner, boy, you nigga, no question. You would run a motherfucker high stepping. Hey, you never had a big enough weapon. Motherfucker never learned your lesson. I'm a 88 pack nigga, woof. I'm a 88 pack nigga, woof. I mean, day walker, drink blood, flames out, full moon, motherfucker change like a hoe, nigga. I'm just a nigga from the hood trying to stack a little cheddar for the money.
Yeah, buddy. We just gonna jump right into it. Drew Titan Bronx on deck. Shout out to the mighty LDBC. You already know. Stormy B-Man in the house. Freddie Pendleton on the line. And today the guest is DeVarryl Touch of Sleep Williamson. What's going on, big dog? How you?
I'm very good, man. I'm so proud to be on the show, and I'm glad you guys haven't forgot the little guy out here in Colorado. You know, it's a pleasure. The pleasure's all mine.
Man, excellent, man. Like as I was telling you behind the scenes, man, we the Sunday show, man, we get to like kick our feet up and talk to classic gentlemen like you know, because when you was in the mix, we was getting boxing. You know what I'm saying? Hard nose, just boxing. You know, we was able to enjoy it. We wasn't talking about business and contracts and all this aggravating things that we are forced to talk about today. We were just talking boxing. You know, I got to see you fight many times. I'm gonna jump around a bit, but before I go, I want everyone, because there's a lot of people in the chat right now. Let everyone know who you are. Go ahead, DeVarryl.
Oh yeah, I'm DeVarryl Touch of Sleep Williamson. I reside in Denver, Colorado. I'm here in my gym. Just on the evening, to bust it up with you. You know what I mean? Drew, it's a pleasure for you having me on like when you've been out of the game for a little bit, it's nice, because I own and operate a boxing studio, so we're always talking boxing. So it's nice to be in the mix. Right? It's nice to be not forgotten about, or just like, there's some relevance in what your conversation you're having. And I don't have any superstar boxers, in the professional ranks. I have a couple of young amateur guys that that have a lot of potential that I'm working with. So that part is really good. So I'm still very much involved in the sport.
That's great. That's great, man. You have a gym in Denver. Tell us about that gym. I see all the equipment behind you. Tell us about that.
Boxing Gym. The acronyms for my name, Touch of Sleep. We're actually in Inglewood, Colorado, and we have a couple of amateurs. I have a nonprofit organization called TYP, Touchstone Youth Program, that we service Inglewood's elementary school, Inglewood's middle schools, and some of the high school students that want to be involved. That come over. They send busloads of kids over here a couple of times a week, and I'm so proud because if my father, my parents were alive, they'd be smiling from ear to ear, man. That you finally doing something, giving back, not just take. How many rec centers, how many after school programs, how many free lunch programs, how many programs you've been involved in. Of the Honorable Mayor Marion Barry has created from Washington, D.C. that I was a part of. Now I get the chance to physically give back to those kids, those likes. Who knows what's going to happen? Who knows what some of these kids may go out to be the brightest people in the world? And it's just a nice start to be in their lives and to encourage them. They're anywhere from 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 years old, and you have a chance. Sometimes when kids get to be a couple years into high school, you say, I kind of wish I would have had them a little bit earlier so I can kind of put that base and put that foundation in that young person's life. Sometimes they get a little bit older, and sometimes you have kids, or not kids, you have young men that come in who are 28, 29, 26, and want to box. Because I started boxing so late in my life, I believe that everyone can do what I've done. It's not like that. And not that I'm so special, but I just haven't seen it done again. I haven't seen it done again. Starting boxing in 25, I looked at it a little bit different. I got an opportunity to be a part of the Northern Michigan program. This in Marquette, Michigan. This is a part of the annex of the United States Olympic program, it just like I took it seriously, and because I took it seriously, I had some success, and I'm so grateful for that program, and to be a part of it, and to have had the career I've had. Have I won everything? No. Have I lost everything? No. But I would say, overall, it's something special because I got uh, a scholarship. I earned a scholarship to get a master's degree, and it's kind of like 2 gold medals. You know what I mean? Because you have so much more to offer when you go into the working world, the job market, and you have a different look. When my clients come in and kids come in and say, "Wow, you did that, and you won 10 national championships, and you the boxer, and you the outstanding boxer, and you did this, and you did that," and it's kind of cool because you're doing both, and I haven't seen it really done before. I haven't seen it done again since I have been involved in the boxing and education program.
Whoa. So I'm glad to see that you're still in the mix, and this is your way of not only giving back to the community, but you're giving back to the sport. And you see, these are things that I love to hear. These are things that I find that are important. This is what it's about, and I'm glad you said that out loud, man. You fought. You didn't win everything. You did some things. You did a lot of things, not some things, but you're still here. And these are the things that I believe is missing today. Everybody's afraid to let a O go. Everybody's afraid, oh, what if I get in there and lose? There's something called failing forward. And there's no harm in failing forward. There's no harm. It's
Drew, I would come home from college back in 87, 88, 89, when I was in school. And it was kind of crazy because I'm from Washington, D.C., right from the city, in the Southeast Washington, D.C. And I'm laughing because sometimes my buddies will, you'll sit on the bus and talk to someone. I mean, this is before I went to college. Right. And then one of my friends would say, he said, man, his name's Adrian Davis. He said, man, he was a basketball legend. He said, man, you'll talk to anybody. Like, you'll have a conversation with anybody. And that's kind of how it is. You got to take some chance, take a risk. Again, it's not bad. Another guy, his name is Harold Red. He owns and operates the company called Squash All Beefs in Washington, D.C. Very dear friend. He said, man, he looked at me like, you'll try anything. I will, and I feel proud about that. It's okay to try anything, and that's kind of how I've been able to accomplish a few things because I'm able to try. You don't know until you try. So how would you know? You don't like strawberry ice cream until you try. How do you know you don't like banana pudding? Or I know I like liver because I tried liver. I tried liver. I like chicken. I like steak. So it's cool and it's a part of it. I'm just really excited, that I've took some opportunities. I'm proud of my dad. You know what I mean? Like I said, he's up in heaven now, but it's just so nice where he's smiling down and saying, man, like, you're taking some chances. He's saying, hey man, you can always come home. He said, but try to live somewhere else. Try to live somewhere else. And I did. And I never came home. And it was like, man, that's cool. You got to try. You got to try some things. I'm always encouraging young people, regardless of what they look like, what they are. I want them to know that there's somebody who's probably in the similar circumstances that had pulled himself up from the bootstraps and done something and made something. But I started out by trying. Not everything. I tried football. The reason I got into boxing because I was trying to get ready for the NFL for boxing. For football.
That's something. Mm-hmm. Wow.
That's the only reason I got into boxing is to stay in shape for trying out for the football. I was with the Indianapolis Colts back in 1994. And I also had a trial with the Indianapolis Colts and trial with the Arizona Rattlers.
What's your position?
And it's crazy. You don't know. And this
DeVarryl,
boxing thing.
what was your position?
Oh, I'm sorry, quarterback.
Quarterback. Wow. Oh, you got an
Well,
arm.
hey, quarterback, I was running back.
You know what's funny is that I was in camp with Mark Ripken and Jim McMahon. They both were NFL Super Bowl champions, and they both was like, "Man, I want 600,000 or I want 800,000." I'm like, "Man, you give me $2,500 a week, I'm good." these both guys like, I'm like looking at them like, I think Mark Ripken wanted 800,000, Jim McMahon wanted 600,000 a year. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. I'm good if they put me on the developmental squad at $2,500 a week. I'm good. And it's just crazy where you are. You know what I mean? Jay-Z got like a little quotation go. You know what I mean? No matter where you are, there you are. And I, you know what I mean? Like I'm gonna be who I am gonna be, and not try to be someone else. I'm just gonna live, and be myself. And like, hey, I was fine with $2,500 a week. Now, having breakfast, I'm trying to figure his name. He's a guy, player personnel guy, whispered to me in my ear that my flight leaves at 8:00 tomorrow morning.
Wow.
8:00 tomorrow morning. So I'm trying to eat my food and give him a look like, yeah, okay, maybe he got a playbook for me. Nah, he's telling you got to go home. This is over with. But it's okay. You know what I mean? It's an experience of a lifetime, and I'm so grateful for it. So why did I have that experience? Because I tried. I wasn't afraid to fail or to lose or to be turned down or be turned away. It's all good. I mean, it's a part of it. It's part of life.
There's something that I would like to say, and salute.
Let me read this super chat really quick, Stormy. Salute to my brother Jared. He said one of the coldest boxing nicknames I ever heard. Shout out to you fellas for having Touch of Sleep on. Yeah, that's a cold name. Hell yeah, that's a cold name. I always like that name. Go ahead, Stormy.
Yeah, and salute to the information that you're sharing with us, DeVarryl, on a personal level. You mentioned your dad. Can I take it that your dad was a part of your life, as you were growing to manhood?
Absolutely. I am so grateful that he came into my life. I was actually born in the Washington, D.C. jail. And it's just crazy because my mom was a heroin addict. For some reason, in the 60s, coming from the Vietnam War, the movie with Denzel Washington, all that. I mean, I think that's real. That's real because for some reason, that's what our parents were involved in. Not everybody, but some of our parents was involved in that. And because of that, I'm one of those people. So my aunts and uncles, my mother's brothers and sisters, wanted to teach my mother a lesson for doing drugs and say, hey, we're gonna let the social services take us away. So I have a sister, Demetria, who's 11 months older than me. We're Irish twins. For 16 days every year, we're the same age, same mother, same father. And so we got into a foster home where there's my mom is Dorothy and William Addison, Dot and Bill. And they raised me until I was 9 years old. So for a long time, I was still calling them mom and dad and calling my mom, my biological mother and father by their first name. It's just crazy how this world has, and to be able to come from that and to be able to go and play in RFK Stadium for a city championship, to be the starting quarterback as a sophomore in high school, to go to college and play football and basketball and run track, to graduate college, to graduate from grad school, to travel the world, to be everywhere in the world, to have a red carpet treatment. What I mean by that is when you get off the plane, they have a red carpet treatment, and they want to know who you are. You're taking pictures with everybody from Burger King to McDonald's to the hotel staff, because you're one of the upper echelon boxers of the USA boxing team. It's huge. It's huge of the experiences I've had to be so close to Muhammad Ali, or to be so close to Smoking Joe Frazier. And if I show you all these pictures on the wall, all the people you met and interacted with, I mean, come on, intimately, like to be so close to Muhammad Ali and to have breakfast with him, to be close to James Earl Jones, to be close to Michael Jordan. I mean, Floyd Mayweather, I feel like I raised him. He's my little brother. So, we all good. We have 1,000 pictures of Floyd, and I didn't know Floyd's going to be Floyd. We just take
Right.
pictures because we love each other. We just crazy, young guys. I was 25. I think he was 17. It's just so cool, to meet, Martin Lawrence and Tommy Hearns and Sugar Ray Leonard, everybody. I mean, like, my God, it's been beautiful, man. To be up under the Honorable Mayor Marion Barry, up under his wing, fighting in his Marion Barry boxing cup, to win that 2 times. It's pretty awesome.
Well, to follow up very quickly, and then I'll pass it on to the other people that have come into the building. But when I asked that question, it's something that you reflect, and it comes from an upbringing, a positive upbringing. And the fact that early in your conversation, you mentioned, parent, mentorship, things like that. And, the fact that what was offered to you, which was the advisement of, nothing beats a try, to go out and give it a go or whatever. No negativity, even though there may have been some negative actions and circumstances that come around. But there are people who walk this life and understand that there was a thing called equilibrium. And when you have that, you can navigate the most difficult of tasks and trials simply because it's been instilled in you to understand that even though something doesn't go your way, that you can still put forth an effort to have made your mark, and wherever it places, but it's still, you participate in the game of life. And that's what I recognized early in your conversation when you were stating, what you were sharing with us. And I think it's a beautiful thing, because when you have a person like that, you can take them almost in any category. You can teach them, you can show them something. They can take that mantle and go forward and take it even further than the person that instructed them or directed them or introduced them, simply because they have that equilibrium. You know what I'm saying? That manner of having a foundation where you're on a solid rock. But I that's a beautiful thing. And me having worked with people in the gym, I know that that's a huge factor, because you want to instill those type of values in whoever is coming through. Because, as I've often said, boxing is just like a metaphor for life. So whatever you're teaching them in the gym, the principles of it all, they can carry outside of the gym into their daily lives. So it's more than just balling your fist up and being able to punch somebody, but it's about self-development and self-awareness. So that's very reflective, what you shared thus far. And it's amazing, because I've only seen you fighting on TV, and when they've had a chance to interview you before or after fights. But now I can understand you even more. So it's like, that's a beautiful thing. That's my long way of just stating that. So we appreciate that, brother.
Thank you so much. That's very kind of you. It's been like that. You know what I mean? Because, everybody has a story, and they understand how certain people have come or overcome certain situations, and you're spot on. You're spot on in terms of like what you've seen and what you've done, and it's kind of made you prepared me for today. Those experiences have better prepare me, so that we are going through this COVID. We're going through this racial war we're going through now, where with the Ukraine and the Russians. I mean, and to have fought, to have been in the ring with the brothers, Vladimir and Vitaly. I boxed Vladimir in Vegas for 5 rounds, and I boxed
You
Vitaly for
dropped
5
him.
rounds.
You
And
dropped him too.
yeah, but they both quit. They both quit. They both quit. And to say that, say, hey, like something's wrong with Vitaly's black. I'm like, I don't remember. We didn't wrestle. We didn't fall down. I don't know what happened. Again, Vladimir Klitschko, you can see that fight over and over and over. It's right there on YouTube. So, they're writing a book, or they wrote a book, and someone interviewed me and said, well, which one is better? Which one, which one would you like? Well, I need more time with both of them. I need both of them getting the ring again. I need more time with both of them. But I am proud of them, of how they're representing their country, between Lomachenko, between the heavyweight, the new heavyweight champion. I think it's really good. It's really cool of how they are representing. They're standing up. Again, it's who it is. You mean, like, I don't know. I don't know. All the situations and stories of it. I'm not on the politics. I'm just saying that, like, someone coming to your house and they lend you some money, and then their money's out, so they want to take it back. You know what I mean? I don't know how that goes. You know what I mean? But I'm glad they're fighting. Some as being a black man or African American, like, we gotta stand up for something. You know what I mean? We're gonna fall for anything.
Wow.
At some point in time, you gotta stand up. And for that reason, you can applaud them. Say, man, like, hey, I may die, and that's okay, but I can't go out like this knowing that you guys gonna come in here and just do something to me and take whatever you want to. I mean, at some point in time, you gotta stand up. And so for that, I'm proud. I'm proud of how they represent themselves and the country and themselves, their families.
DeVarryl, man, how you doing, man? It's kind of local, man.
What's up, baby? How are you?
What's going on, man? All good, man. Hey, first of all, man, I think it's very it's a great thing, man, that you can show people, man, that you can do anything in life you want to, man. Because if I ain't mistaken, I believe you started your pro career at the age of 31, 32.
Yeah, 25 days before my 32nd birthday.
Yeah, yep. So I mean, that lets you know you still had a healthy career. I agree with you. I believe that Klitschko did quit. To stay on this fight right here. Do you?
It's all good.
Yeah.
That's a knockdown, and it's just so funny that he's taking my style and saying, "Hey, DeVarryl did a good job. I'm going to use it because it worked against me," and that's kind of how life goes. But I still didn't get that Christmas card or anything like that.
One of the brothers in the chat, Dwayne Jones, said, I remember the amateurs that DeVarryl made Calvin Brock go to super heavyweight because that right hand scared the hell out of him.
Calvin Brock, we fought 4 times, and that's 4 losses. I fought Lamont Brewster 4 times. There's 3 wins versus 1. I fought Nate Jones 4 times. Nate Jones he beat me 3-1. But even though I beat Lamont Brewster 3-1, I will fight Nate Jones anytime, although he beat me, because it wasn't that kind of fight. Like, when I beat Lamont Brewster, man, I couldn't eat on the side of my right side of my mouth for 2 weeks because that left hook. I mean, he told me, he said, man, I said, I can't move my mouth. He said, just chew gum. So I started chewing gum, to help my mouth, my muscles in my mouth, work a little bit better. It's crazy. Sometimes you may win a game and it's the toughest game, and you're not looking forward to playing that game again. I'd rather play somebody who beat me because it was a much easier in terms of wear and tear on your body. So
right.
I always want to know, like, hey, Nate Jones, I know you beat me, but I take that fight anytime.
Yeah, that's what's up. Trick Noty in the building. Salute, bro.
What's up, Trick?
Hey, what's going on, man? Having some difficulties over here. Y'all hear me?
We hear you now.
Y'all hear me?
I can hear you now.
What's going on, everybody on the panel? Okay, what's going on?
Oh, he just went on mute for no reason.
Hey, fellas, I got some surprise visit over here, man. So I'm gonna have to run, Drew. I left it in the private chat, but
you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. All right, Conor. Well, I'll holler at you, brother.
Thank you for your time. Thank you for your time, bro.
Indeed, man. It was a pleasure.
All right, Conor. Yeah, we can hear you, Trick. We can hear you, Trick. Yep, we can hear you.
Yeah. Yeah, everybody. Hey, what's going on, Stormy? How you doing, Marco, Drew? What's going on?
What about
Good,
DeVarryl?
man.
What about DeVarryl? Don't forget about me. Don't forget about the little guy.
Yeah, DeVarryl spoke to you. How you doing, brother? You know, we spoke.
I'm good, my brother.
Oh no, man. Hey, you know what? It's talking with you, man. We talked the other day, man, and just looking back at it now, your career, you being a smaller heavyweight, putting them big guys to sleep. You know, we had Curtis Shalabala on last week, and I didn't get a chance to have him bring up his amateur record because he had a great amateur record. I think he knocked just about everybody out. You had a great amateur record also. You had what, like a 90% knockout ratio or something like that?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, it's a lot of people who didn't hit the third bell. Yes, that's a fact. It's so funny because I went to take my fighters.
So I got a question.
Okay.
Oh.
Go ahead, Trick.
Oh, go ahead. Oh, I was going to ask you, is there anybody that you fought in the amateurs that you lost to that you want to fight in the pros that you didn't get a chance to fight them?
Yes. Derek Jefferson. I lost to him in 1994 in St. Louis, Missouri. Oh, my God. Did I make up for it? I make up for it 10 years later. I had to wait a couple years, but we got him back.
I ain't heard that name in a minute. Good minute, Derek Jefferson.
Knockout, second round.
There you go. Fact. Madison Square Garden.
Marco in the building. Salute, man. Champion of Chump podcast in the building. Marco, what's going on, brother?
What's up, Marco? How are you, baby? Polo.
What's up, fellas?
You say Marco Polo?
I get that all the time.
Sorry about that, man. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. People can't help themselves. How you doing, man?
I'm good.
So, do you feel like it was a positive starting to box later in life because you were more mature, or do you feel like it was negative?
Yes, sir. I think it worked out for me and with my career, with my life. I think that was good because I tried so many different other things with football, basketball. I think the maturity part really hunkered down because I could really focus on boxing without having my mind over here and over there. What about this? What about that? When I tried those things, I felt like that I had gone as far as I could go in football. I've gone as far as I can go in basketball. To play summer league basketball in Washington, D.C. with the Urban Collision and Dunbar High School with some of the pros and amateurs or the college guys, to play to play football and got a chance to box. I was like, oh my God, this is it. This is my calling. And it just it just worked out. It just worked out. It worked out. And you took a chance, and that's kind of what it was. I took a chance, and I wasn't afraid of defeat. I took a chance, and it happened for me.
Who was there one specific fighter that you really wanted to fight as a pro but didn't get the chance to?
No, like I said, for Chris Berry, who's a friend, but also we're trying to win. For the IBF Heavyweight Championship World. I don't know. I mean, like, of course, you see all these guys. You can't fight everybody. So I just fight whoever is in my, like when you move up in the ratings, I don't have to fight everybody. I have to fight a certain person in that tier. If he's pretty even with this guy, I don't have to fight him. I just got to fight one guy and keep moving on. I fight Dirk Jefferson. I fight Corey Sanders. I fought Layman. No. I fought Layman Bruce amateur, but I fought Oliver McCall. I fought Chris Bird. I thought I don't have anyone I really want to call out. I mean, because I think that my career was good. I don't think it was great, but I think it was good. I think a lot of people would trade places with me based upon my professional career and my amateur career as well. You know what I mean? When you don't make it to the Olympics and you become an Olympic alternate, you still got the hunger, that burn in your stomach that says, hey, I want to do it. And I think that I still was able to win, 4 belts. When people come to the gym, the first thing they see is the NABF, the WBC Intercontinental, the NABO, the WBO Latino. They say, man, you won these belts. But what they're not seeing is that the belts that I lost. I 3 belts in there that I lost, including the heavyweight champion of the world, which is the IBF. Like, but it's a part of life. I mean, it's a part of life. What are you gonna do? You gotta keep taking chances. You gotta keep trying. And, I'm staying at it. I'm still don't like turning corners every day. I'm not like comfortable. I'm happy, but I'm not comfortable. I want to keep working.
Were you ever asked to come to camp for a specific name fighter who was, maybe on or near the top, and they asked you to come in because they thought you can give them good work or something? And if you were, what was the experience like, and what did you take from it?
I've been called in for Hassan Rockman when I was with him when he fought. I think he fought Corey Sanders, or he fought someone. Then he fought Lennox Lewis. So I was with his camp for Lennox Lewis camp. So that was a huge deal. Chris Bird, when he fought Maurice Harris, when he fought someone else, I was with Chris Bird. So I have been a part of it because you want to get better. You want to see where you are. And I felt good. I felt very, very competitive. I felt very, very, needed, or like appreciated. Those 2 men, Hassan Rockman and Chris Berg, they both appreciated what I was able to provide for them in terms of services. I didn't spend a whole bunch of time. I wasn't a professional sparring partner. I needed it. I used it when I could, and then I got out of it. I didn't want to call every other weekend trying to go to somebody's camp because I want to get better. And I want to be able to, I want to be able to get my little tricks off. And sometimes, if the sparring session is so competitive, you're not able to get some of the things you worked on because you're a little bit afraid to try those things with that person because he's really too good for that. So, you got to be able to go back and forth. I don't want to go all that way at those high end sparring sessions or back and forth on the local level. Sometimes the local level wasn't enough for you, for that particular fighter.
Whoa.
So the question is, I was good with where I was in terms of my boxing career. Like I don't have anyone that I'm calling out. Oh God, I wish I could have fought him. I wish I could have fought Vladimir Klitschko again, but it didn't happen. Here we are.
Yeah, you gave him a nightmare. Forget a headache. You gave him a nightmare because no one expected you to do that. I believe that they, that fight was made. I don't remember the rankings, but what I do know is that those Klitschko boys, they had a lot of backing, and anybody that wasn't mainstream was brought in as a sacrificial lamb, and you showed them different because that was a clean knockdown. And you're looking at Vladimir's face, and he was like, "Oh shit, here we go again, another tough one."
Yes.
They were strong boys, but they were flawed like everybody else. And I watched that fight closely, and I think he bailed. He could have continued, in my opinion. He could have continued. I think he wanted out of there. And he got
it. Man, I never saw a guy that big do the James Brown split like he did. I was expecting JBs to come over there and throw the cape over his shoulder.
Fact.
You know what I'm saying?
I think that the doctor on the fight doctor, Dr. Margaret Goodman, I think that she spread the cut even worse. I didn't know she's supposed to touch it. Or just look at it with a flashlight, but she spread it apart. Said, "Oh God, we got to get this fight." It was an accidental headbutt. Okay, we both trying to win the fight in the last 10 rounds, win the round in the last 10 seconds of the round. I get it. Okay, it was an accidental headbutt. However, I felt that at the post-fight interview, there was no blood anywhere.
They stopped the blood. They stopped the bleeding.
They stopped everything.
It wasn't Stitch. Stitch was in his corner.
Yes, Stitch was on his corner. It's so funny because I saw Stitch. Just a little while ago, and it was just funny because we were all laughing about the fight and what they did to make it happen, and I get it. They said if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. And I'm not saying that they cheated. I'm just saying that hey, I should have had another opportunity. This should have another opportunity. Say hey, DeVarryl, I know you got 100,000 whatever you got for this fight, but we're gonna double that and we're gonna do it again, or we're gonna double that or triple that and never fight again. Something that says, hey man, you worth that, or you earn that, and we gonna stay out your way, and we're gonna get out the way.
Well, they showed that. Hey, Freddie, you still there, brother?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, I know you soaking it all up, man. What you got for our brother DeVarryl, man? What's good?
Nah, I was checking. I was just listening. Trying to learn. I learn from y'all guys. You know what I'm saying? I don't think I know everything. Trying to pick up a few things.
Yeah, no doubt.
But no, I just, it's about with the heavyweight division, man. That's a trip. That's one thing I never really got along with heavyweights. So.
Why not?
Well. Here's all right, Freddie. Here's a part. See, all right. Here's where we put the cape on Freddie. I need you to tell the Trevor Berbick story, man. Go ahead.
Oh, when I beat that.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I got. He won the spar. So he put the guy in there with this. It was a young up and coming kid who was going to make the Olympic team, and he said he had an opportunity to make it to the Olympics. So he was sparring with Trevor Berbick, and Trevor Berbick beat this kid so bad. They said the kid never performed the same since. So then he come to Florida after I left that camp in California. He come to Florida. He told me he needs sparring, so he asked me to get in the ring with him. So I said no. You know what I'm saying? And he was like, "Come on, man, you work with him." I said, "I ain't gonna work with him, man." I said, "I watched what he did to one of these kids, and I don't like him. It ain't got to do with I'm scared or afraid or any of that. I don't like him." So they told me to get in there and spar. So I worked with him, and I was hitting this joke with everything. He couldn't get out of the way of nothing. So then he starts trying to knock me out, and I'm laughing at him. And he got mad, picked me up in the air, picked me up on his shoulders, told me he gonna throw me out the ring. I said, "This man crazy, man. I'm about to this nigga." I said, "That nigga better put me down." So I lashed around his neck. And I told him, "You told me I'm gonna take your head with me." So then my trainer screamed out, "Put him down, put him down." He finally put me down. Told me his kid, I don't know what's wrong with him. He crazy. So I ain't crazy because I don't believe you can beat me and shit. I said I can whoop their ass just now. So he got pissed off, told me y'all better get him and all this stuff. So they took me out the ring, and he left. After he finished working out, he left. He never came back. And then it got around that everybody, a lot of people was in the gym and watched me beat on him. So he couldn't lie about that. So I mean, it was good for me. I felt like whooping on some ass anyway. So the bigger, the better. So
that's funny.
I've always liked them Goliath jokers that want to beat on somebody smaller and make them look bad. And my cousin did me the same way. Mm-hmm. Y'all know my cousin.
Who's your cousin?
No, your cousin.
David Bay.
Who was that?
That punk almost killed me. You don't know David Bay?
No, who that?
No.
David Bay, heavyweight. He fought Larry Holmes.
Well, Larry Holmes.
Oh, shit. That's your cousin?
Until Larry caught him. Yeah.
Oh, shit. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Joker hit me in the back of the head. Damn, they killed me, man. I thought I was dead.
Oh, man.
I was about 16. No, I was about 17 when I sparred with him. And this Joker hit me. He got mad because I was hitting with a lot of combinations. So he hits me he throws a hook, a right hook, and hit me in the side of right on the side of the head. Man, my head was ringing. I mean, talking about ringing. I mean, doorbells everywhere. And it felt like my head was shaking. I was like, "Oh my God, I'm dying."
Oh, shit.
What was that? Nah, you all right. I said, "Shit, get me to the hospital." So my trainer was holding on and telling me, "No, calm down." Then when everything finally settled down, I was all right, but I was like, "Shit, I still want to go to the hospital." And I ended up going on the weekend. I said,
"Was anything wrong with you?"
I was only 100. At the time, I was 125 pounds. I'm beating the hell out of him. He's a heavyweight, and he got mad and threw a shot at me.
David was like about 230, man.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. And I cussed him out. When after I got better, I said, "Man, I said, don't ever ask me to work with you again, because you got to be fucking crazy to hit a man, my size with a heavy shot. You're fucking. I mean, he ain't just a heavyweight. He got a super heavyweight.
Yeah, he was one of the big punches of that era.
I was shit. I was less than 135.
So that's why when you said the name, when you said the name, I said that's why when you said the name, I said he can't be talking about the dancing bear.
David Banks.
Oh my gosh.
That big giant motherfucker.
Holy cow.
Hit me in the head. I thought I was dead for real, boy.
Oh my gosh. That's Freddie.
That was crazy.
Who's this on the phone?
I'm like, we playing me. He gonna try to kill me.
Oh, Marco, that's Freddie Pendleton.
That's what I thought. Yeah, that's what I was doing.
What's up?
Oh,
But,
man.
I love boxing though. I mean, I love teaching it. Everything about it, I love it. You know what I'm saying? I love going in, doing battle, going up against the best. I don't want to go in the ring with no sucker. I want to go in the ring with the best of the best. And the best of the best didn't want to fight me. You know what I'm saying? Or the people who claim to be the best of the best. Chavez wouldn't fight me. Pacquiao wouldn't fight me. Zab Judah wouldn't fight me. All them cows. I can keep going on. You know, it was the guy from Jamaica, Simon Brown, welterweight champion of the world. They wouldn't play. We sparred together. I banged him up pretty bad sparring. But Simon gave me a hell of a workout. You know, he was the only one that I could really say that when I step in the ring and things open up, besides my cousin damn near killing me, was the one that gave me a lot of work.
Freddie, let me ask you this: from your era, what were your thoughts on Frankie Randall as a fighter?
We fought twice.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on him? Because I know I've heard you speak on other guys, but I never really heard you say
he was one of
anything.
the best. I mean, the first fight they robbed me, I was beating him up. I won the first 5 rounds easy, and everybody knew he was gonna lose. So he headbutted me. I had a little nick on the side of my eye, and he stopped the fight talking about, the cut is too bad. I said, what?
Right.
I can't even, ain't no blood running in my eye. What are you talking about? He stopped the fight anyway. So he got away with that one. Then they made the rematch. I beat the stuffing out of him. And the first thing he do is don't want to fight me again. Fight everybody but me. And they was trying to, Don King said he was trying to make the rematch. And he said, no, he wouldn't fight. Then he went over and I think, where did he go when he got drunk? He got drunk. I heard this fool was drinking the night before the fight, and then he lost his belt when he fought this guy in, I think the fight was in London when he lost his title. But he refused to rematch me. Don King tried to make the rematch several times. He never wanted to make the rematch. Said no. Because he knew I was going to knock him out the next time. He wasn't going to get it. Yeah, I wasn't going to let him get to the 12th round. But I said,
Freddie, you won the world title beating Paez, right?
I won't let him get 12 the next one. And he made sure he never fought me again.
What'd you say, Marco? Marco, what'd you say?
I said Freddie won the world title beating Paez, right?
Huh? What is that?
You run the world title beating Paez.
No. I defended my title against Paez.
Oh.
I won it beating Tracy Spann.
Okay.
Who everybody said I would never win.
Yo, I'm playing your cousin's fight versus Tyrell Biggs. Listen, man.
Freddie, I got a question. Freddie, did you ever talk to Tracy? You ever talk to Tracy Spann? Did he ever call you?
Hmm?
Freddie.
Yeah.
Did Tracy Spann ever call you?
Tracy Spann?
Oh, you did? Okay,
nah,
cool.
he didn't call me. What you gonna call me for?
Yeah, did he ever call you?
We didn't even like each other.
Oh.
And that's the only person in boxing I didn't like. I mean, I've had arguments, and me and James Tony went at it. Me and Vander Holyfield went at it. Me and Berbick went at it. But after it was over, it was over. You know what I'm saying? But me and Spann never spoke to him again after the fight.
Well, I'm playing this big brawling man fighting Tyrell Biggs. I can't believe this man hit you in the back of your goddamn head. How many no goddamn sense?
I'm telling you, I thought I was dead, bro. You know, I mean, come on, scared to death. You know, I hear was shaking. I said, this don't get me so hard. My brain was shaking in there.
Oh shit! Nah, man, I didn't know you
Yeah,
was a
they
lady.
had that power, man. Like from from just like I like to call it the old man strength. Because they just can bring it. Might not be built like much or whatever, but was a solid man and could just crack.
Yeah. I think David would have made a great world champion, but I think he just got caught up in the business of it. You know what I'm saying? And all the women chasing him and this, that, and other. And I mean, he was a big dude. And he was a really nice guy. You know what I'm saying? And until he hit me in my head, and I changed my mind. He always be my brother. You know what I'm saying? He'll always be my family.
Oh man,
because he treated me good. He treated my brother good. You know what I'm saying? And he looked out for us.
I got a question.
He bust me in my shit. You know what I'm saying? That's the only time I got mad at him because I looked up to him big time.
Marco, you said you had a question?
Yeah, you guys are cutting out. I don't know if it's just on my end, but Freddie, who would you say was the? And I know this is kind of a taboo question, but who's the hardest puncher that really stood out to you that you've been in there with?
That I fought?
Yeah.
David.
And that wasn't even sanctioned.
Ain't nobody hit me harder than that. And after that part, I could take anything anybody else had. But no, I mean, I really haven't faced any really big hitters that really hit me and made me feel anything, that I would be worried about. The one who hit me the hardest, that I think hit me the hardest was Frankie. Frankie caught me with a nice right hand in the second round. Real nice right hand. And it hurt. I didn't let him know it. But
Frank Randall.
That shit hurt. So I had to put something on him.
Okay.
Yeah, I got a question. I got a question. Oh my God, Terrell just knocked the shit out of Davey. Yeah,
he's still hitting him.
Yeah, he's still hitting him. Shit. Round 6, fight's over. DeVarryl,
yes, sir.
Always wanted to talk to you about this, man. Because this part, this was the HBO era where things started to get on my goddamn nerves. Your fight with Baby Joe Mesi. Take me through that. Take me through that whole thing.
Joe Mesi is a kid I raised, okay, in amateur boxing. We take him to Sweden and Finland, and he was one of the fighters on the team. But he was, he was good, but he was a little bit green, and he was putting him under my wing. I boxed Joe Mesi a couple of times in an Olympic camp because we were Olympic alternates in '96, and I spent a lot of time knocking him down, knocking him out in practice. So they said, "Hey, no more DeVarryl, no more Joe Mesi." It's just DeVarryl and Clay Bay, Joe Mesi, and Nate Jones. I don't know if I got ahead of myself. I don't know if it's the arena. You had 17,000 fans. I can't tell you. I mean, that's still a mystery to me of what went on. I went and saw a psychologist after the fight because I never had that where I just froze up, where I didn't compete. So that's still a mystery to me in my career about the Joe Mesi fight in Buffalo, 2003, September 27th. It's still a mystery.
Well, here's the thing. When I watched that fight, I was at home, and we also have a guy named George Jakovich who actually worked for HBO at that time. And HBO was going through what I call the change. And I'm not going to get into specifics, but if everyone follows me, they know what I'm talking about. They were going through the change. So they saw interest in Baby Joe Mesi. So they had this big ass banner and fireworks, and they bring him out, and he's supposed to be some sort of rock star. So I'm watching him, and I gave him a chance, and I said he's not explosive, but to be honest, I said, man, DeVarryl took a dive, man, because I know he better than that. And I was like, I don't know what the fuck just happened. And this guy, and it was Messi. It wasn't like a great performance, but it looked more or less like you gave it away rather than he did something. So I always wanted to ask you what happened that night.
I've never taken a dive in my life. I've never been offered, to lose a fight, ever, as an amateur or as a pro. It's just one of those things, bro. I can't put my finger on it because I come back and I beat Oliver McCall. I feel like I beat Vladimir Klitschko. I beat Eliseo Castillo. I beat a ton of people who are better than Joe Mesi. You got to be kidding me. You're scratching it and scratching your head like, what the hell happened?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I didn't know what was going on because you got in there with Vladimir. You got in there with Vladimir, and I know that they had to thought you was another sacrificial lamb.
Exactly.
And you were boxing his face in and dropped his ass. And I said, this is DeVarryl right here. I don't know what the fuck that was.
Yes. Yes.
That was crazy.
And to fight Vladimir Klitschko and Oliver McCall, those two opponents, those two fucking great names, ex-world champions, man, and fighting 45 days apart, man, that's huge. To have the balls to fight them like that. Give me Oliver McCall, give me Vladimir Klitschko. I'm ready. It's no big deal. Don King said, you want to be with me? This is your test. I'm like, damn, that's a hell of a test. Oliver McCall? To beat him is one thing, and say, man, it's a big deal, man. And Madison Square Garden, it was huge, and to have the little, to have the rug pulled from underneath you with the Vladimir Klitschko fight, I had to take the fight. That was my audition. I was like, okay, we good. I got this. And I feel like I had that fight. You know what I mean? So I can't tell you what happened to Joe Mesi, man. It's still a mystery to me. I'm telling you, as God is my witness, it's still a mystery to me what happened in that fight. I'm talking like a kid I raised. I took him, Sweden and Finland, put him under my wing. Showed him how to travel, what to eat, how to fight, how to box. For forever, and to fight him. A couple of years later, I don't give. That's why I took the fight. I didn't give a fuck where we fight at. If we can fight in Buffalo with 17,000, I don't give a damn. He's not going to win. He has no chance in hell.
Was you feeling okay? Did you feel sick?
Again, it's hard to say, man. I don't want to sit online and say somebody put something in my water or something, but I felt a little off. I felt a little off going in there, but I don't know if it was the nerves, it was something else. But you know what? I'm upset.
Let me help you out here, DeVarryl. Let me help you out. There has been a lifetime for the sport of boxing scenarios where fighters going in on their own God free will, looking to do their job and to secure their payday and to perform at their optimal. But external elements have contributed to things being angled for a certain individual. That's just the history of the sport. We've done shows on that on Drew Titan's platform here in the past, and we'll probably do more in the future. I've done them on my show in the past. But the one thing that we don't want you to say anything that would be compromising yourself or the sport or anything. But we do now know there is logic and evidence of tampering in the sport to benefit certain individuals at certain times. And that's the thing that we want people to understand, because the fighters have enough to deal with psychologically, getting themselves up to put their bodies through the rigors that they take them through and to go in and try to hurt another man more than he's trying to hurt you. So, you know, you don't have to say any more. The fact that we know how things work is just opening the envelope to people to understand that a lot of times the inexplicable can be explained when you understand and know the history of the sport.
Wow. You know, I felt that way and thought like that, but I can never put my stamp or my seal of approval on that's what happened. I want to personally charge to say, well, maybe I overlooked him. Maybe because I boxed with him so many times and knocked him down, knocked him out so many times, this wasn't a big deal. But this wasn't that kind of fight. I don't remember that Joe Mesi ever. You know what I mean? And I know that he retired because he had blood clots or something like that in the brain. Yeah, but maybe he's had that since he was an amateur. Who knows? Who knows how much they hid in that stuff because they want their horse to be victorious. I mean, like maybe he's had that for a long time. I don't know. The guy's been doing it.
Tommy Morrison had HIV going all the way before he fought Ray Mercer.
Wow.
That they just was keeping it off the books and everything. And I guess when his T cell count got so low and everything that they just could not hide that anymore, that's when they had to say something. But the word has it. There's a documentary out there. Even you can get it online on YouTube that they talk about that man had some things going on with himself years before we got to that point where they said, okay, he can't box anymore.
You know what? It's tough because Tommy Morrison, Eazy-E, you know what I mean? Like sometimes these guys become promiscuous or whatever. I mean, like, I don't know because of boxing, more girls fell into their lap, because of rap music. I mean, I know Eazy-E was he was a dope dealer. I mean, so I know that he was, he had that at his fingertips if he wanted it. But maybe because of the music, I don't know. It's just tough. I mean, you knock on wood because a lot of guys, probably including us, all the men that's on here, you've been with a woman that you haven't been fully protected. I mean, and just like it's just woo, it's a swing and a miss. We dodged that. I mean, it's crazy and it's unfortunate that he had been HIV positive probably for a longer time that they couldn't hide anymore. They couldn't, they couldn't disguise it anymore. Like, my God, I mean, like, this we can't pass the test, or we can't get through it. We can't overlook it, and it happened. And it's a tough way to go.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. The testing has gotten better over the years, and there's probably no way that they could, rig it so that he'll come up negative or whatever. But they do what they want in tests. And what I was playing on the screen, I don't know if you was able to see it, DeVarryl. I was playing when Freddie Pendleton lost to Felix Trinidad.
I saw it.
I asked the same question when I first spoke to Freddie. I asked him, did you throw the fight? And he said, absolutely not. I remember seeing that fight live in '96. I was at my relative's house. And I said, what the fuck happened?
But that was a good hook to the body. That was a good hook. It's hard. I mean,
no, but I want to show you. I want to show you what happened before the hook to the body. You can see the screen.
Yes, sir.
Watch this. Nothing happening. He's in the fight. Tito's been missing all night long. Now watch this. What just happened there?
Oh, he backed up like oh God, like something happened. Like yes. He backed up like there's no punch. He backed up like something was wrong.
That's
like somebody did something out of nowhere. He backed up.
Well, all you gotta do is watch the round. The round while I'm in the corner, he sticks some shit up my nose. My trainer.
Yep.
Stuck something up my nose. Cause right after the fight, he went and bought a $350,000 house.
See that?
Right after the fight.
Now, how the hell we knew? How us being fans would know that watching it on HBO from our house? We wouldn't know that.
Yeah,
until you play it over and over.
The same question. Why did I take a dive?
No, he ain't taking no damn
I
dive.
don't take no dive for nobody.
Right.
Exactly. But something made you back up. Like, what the hell was that? What happened?
Yep.
Something made Freddie's
Like he saw-
cornerman stick
he saw a
something up
ghost or
his
something.
nose when his nose wasn't even bleeding or anything. And Freddie had to knock his hand away, asking him, "Hey, what you doing?" He's like, "Oh, I'm getting blood or whatever." Freddie's like, "My nose ain't even bleeding. What you doing?" Then he goes out into that round,
Yeah.
and at some point during that round, you saw him
Back up for no
respond to
reason.
whatever that was put up his nose.
But okay, and he backed up for like 3 steps.
no
There
reason.
was no punches.
So that's why when I asked you what happened that night against Baby Joe, I didn't know that you met him prior and you was beating him. I just found that out just now.
I raised him.
You raised him. So
I raised
We didn't
him.
know that. We didn't know that.
We didn't
I'm
know
telling
that.
you now. I
You
mean,
know what I'm saying? So
I'm telling you, I knocked him down like 6 or 7 times easy. They in Olympic camp in 1996, they stopped us from sparring and said, "Hey, no more DeVarryl Joe Mesi." I mean, just he's taking a beating. There's no more for that. You know what I mean? So just it'd be DeVarryl and Clay Bay. Nate Jones had got a lawyer that says, "Hey, he's beating me to get to the Olympics, but he won't want to spar with me." I'm like, "You got to be kidding me." Okay, that's cool. So it's just me and Clay Bay back and forth. And Antonio
We just learned that tonight. I didn't know that y'all had a previous history. I thought that was the first time y'all met. I did not know that.
Oh no.
You see that? So then he comes out on HBO. Now, my audience knows where I'm going with this. He comes out on HBO. HBO is going through this change. He got all these fireworks and pyrotechnics and a big ass banner. And he comes out and steamrolls you and run fucking round. And I said, what the fuck was that? And that's why when I saw the fight, I said, did DeVarryl throw this fucking fight, man? I said, pushing this kid. They pushing this kid, right? This white face. And these Klitschko boys are coming in. And they pushing these guys. And I said, I know this brother ain't lay down for this guy. Because I know this brother's better than that. Now, here we are, damn near 25 years later. I'm finally talking to you. You saying you ain't throw the fight. You saying you used to whoop his ass. But you did say that you felt off that night and you had to go see a psych.
At the end of the fight, because I'm asking myself, I have never had that happen. So I don't want to say, hey, they put something in my drink, they put something in my water, something was different. All I'm telling you is that it was something different. It was something different. Hang on. If you watch me fight almost 200 fights, that has never happened before.
Here we are again.
It's never happened before. As an amateur or as a pro, or pro, I've never got knocked out by Joe Mesi in the first round. Are you kidding me? You got to be kidding me. Am I being punked?
Man, and you can't identify what's going on.
Hang on. And the second part about it is that I'm hurt because we were friends. I got his father's number. Nobody text me and say, man, DeVarryl, you okay? You're right. I'll give you an example. Hit me out. We have each other's phone number. You mean? So he don't say, hey, I'm sorry about the fight. Hit me out. Chris Bird and I fought. We're friends. We talk after the fight. Okay? Yeah, it didn't go the way we wanted to. Okay, we lost. Who was the guy? Dirk Jefferson. I text him or the people who handle him. I said, man, is he okay? Is he okay? Is he all right? We do the social media stuff. We'll text, every once in a while and say, what's up, D? What's up, baby? You know what I mean? Like that's kind of how what men do. We got so much respect for each other. I have not heard from Joe Mesi or Joe Mesi's father ever since 2002. And that's all that time, from 1995 all the way to 2000, whatever it was, 2002. And we wouldn't talk all the time, but we would say hello, pleasantries or something. Man, you doing good? Until after that fight, I never heard from him or his family ever again.
Oh my God, that's guilt, in my opinion.
Of course, that's guilt.
It's something.
Not only is it guilt, but it's like they used you to be able to elevate him, but in a manner in which they took advantage of you at the same time.
Hey, look at that. Wait. Look at me now.
There you go.
I'm healthy. I'm healthy. Listen. I'm happy. I'm 53. I mean, God don't like ugly. You feel me?
Listen, man. Hey, listen. What God places in your hand, no man
There you
can
go.
remove. Okay,
You can't remove it.
Look at what you're doing, and you're extending the blessing back to the community, the kids, and everything.
Yes.
Where is he at right now?
Where's he at?
I don't know.
You know what happened to him after that? You know what
I can
happened
tell you what
after
he's
that,
doing.
DeVarryl?
What's that?
Go ahead,
I
Trick.
can tell you what he's doing. He's doing politics. Yeah, he's doing politics right now. I mean, from what I understand, yeah, he's doing politics up in New York. And from what I understand from people I talked to behind the scenes, boxing don't want nothing to do with him.
Really?
Like you say, God don't like ugly.
He don't. I mean, he don't. Hear me out, guys. We're all men. Here we go. We're all gonna win or lose something. But sometimes you have your cousin, like you said, you fight, but you're still okay. I mean, I've not heard one peep from Joe Mesi or Joe Mesi's father to say, "Hey, man, big bro, it went down the other way." Oh, okay. But you see him go win, but you got bleed on the brain. You know what I mean? Like, hey, I'm not wishing that on you. I'm just saying, hey, I understand why. Maybe you've been hiding that, like you said about what's the guy from Oklahoma? Tommy. They've been hiding the HIV stuff. They've probably been hiding the bleeding on the brain for a long time with Joe Mesi as well. Guaranteed.
And how he went out.
I got a question. So,
go ahead, Trick.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that goes to me. I back to what Storm was saying. It was kind of alluding what he was saying about the water stuff. Have you ever competed against anybody you thought was on PEDs?
No, I don't know what PEDs are.
Performance enhancement drugs.
Oh no, it ain't gonna help him.
Steroids.
It ain't gonna help him. It wouldn't help him from his right hand. That's not gonna help him.
Did you ever compete against anybody that you thought was on PEDs?
No, I have no
That's
idea.
my question,
No, I don't think so.
Man, I got so mad looking at this.
Yeah,
because it wasn't you, man. It totally wasn't you.
No.
And this guy, he eventually, I don't know how many fights later, he runs into Vasily Jirov, who just came in from cruiserweight, right?
Yeah,
and that's the fight where he got the blood on the damn brain. Because Jirov,
he may have had that since the amateur. To be honest with you, he may have had that since the amateur. From Lawrence Clay Bay, it could be me, my sparring session. Who knows? You know what I mean? Who knows? I mean, who knows?
Well,
his father was a police in Buffalo, so of course they can hide stuff. Of course.
Yeah, he after that fight, it was a 10-round fight, if I'm not mistaken, and I know he dropped Vasily, hurt him early, but then the second half of the fight, Jirov started to turn it up, dropped him, and I remember saying that if the fight, let me get this shit off the guy. I don't even want to look at this. When he the second half of the goddamn fight, I get mad. I don't even know why I played that. I get mad looking at that shit. When the second half of the fight, Vasily started turning it up and dropped his ass, I think in the 10th round. But Mesi already had he won enough rounds to win the fight. But I remember watching that fight, I said if Vasily had another round or two, he was gonna stop Baby Joe.
Yes.
And I was never impressed with Baby Joe. And it's no disrespect to him. I'm just saying I was never impressed. But I'm just like looking, I'm talking to you, like I said, so it's damn near 25 years later.
Yes.
And I'm getting answers. Like just like how I spoke to Freddie. I said, Freddie, what's up with the Trinidad fight? And I finally looked at it again, and then I see what happened. I said, oh shit. And now I'm talking to you, and I did not know that you didn't know what the fuck was going on that night. So that's why we're asking, because there's a trail of cheating going on all through the sport. It's not new. And maybe you didn't know.
I mean, again, you know what I mean? Again, like I'm asking myself, because I never felt that way before or after that fight ever again in any of my fights as an amateur or as a professional. And like, is that really? I mean, did that really happen? Did I really get, drugged up or took? They put a bad water in my locker room, or did I bring my own water? I mean, like, what happened to make me a little bit, little bit out of sorts? A little bit, disoriented. I mean, like, he's not that good. He's not that good. Okay, or I'm not that bad. I mean, not when I go and fight Vladimir and fight Oliver McCall. You know, Oliver McCall and Vladimir would tore fire to Joe Mesi's ass. You know that for a fact.
Oh man,
ain't no way in the world.
You know what tells the tale? And also, I didn't know. First of all, we didn't know that you knew him prior to that. We didn't know you used to whoop on his ass, and he didn't stylistically. I don't think he'd have changed that much because you'd have said that. But the nail in the coffin right here, the pipe bomb, the smoking gun is you got no fucking phone call after
None.
that fight.
To a guy who's my friend, like I said, me and Chris Bird talk. You know, me and Dirk Jefferson talk. I mean, we never fight each other, but me and Hassan Rockman, we talk. I mean, everybody you have, like Dirk Bryant, everybody who has been to camp. I'll give you an example. Look at Kevin McBride. I beat Kevin McBride. Kevin McBride beat Mike Tyson. Okay? Me and Kevin McBride still talk today. You mean? I went to his fight. I went to the Washington, D.C. No, it was in D.C. to watch the fight. You know, like, see it all come together. I'm like, we still get along. I'm like, who do you fought that you don't really say hello to? Are you gotta kidding me? I mean, all this time we went on across the world together. You don't say anything to me? You or your dad? You don't say, man, you all right? You mean, how things going? Keep your head up. You gonna be fine. You mean, man. It's one of those nights. Man, I swear to God, I've not heard from him. I mean, ever since.
Man.
And you know what? Again, you know, I've always asked myself, you know, why I haven't heard from him at all? You know, and it's so easy because the social media stuff is just right at your fingertips. Something say, hey man, how you doing, man? Like, but it's crazy because you don't want to hear from him. You mean, like, you know, so much time go by, you say, you know, you gotta be kidding me. That kid, I raised that kid, I took to Sweden, I took to Finland, put it under my arm, showed him the world. You mean?
You know, this and let me talk to the chat for a second. Chat, what does that sound like? Tyson Fury, 400 pounds on the couch, depressed. Deontay Wilder says, no one wants to fight me. We missed the Gypsy King. I'll give you a 50-50 fight, get your fat ass in shape, and I'll get you a payday. Stop feeling sorry for yourself. And what the fuck that fat motherfucker do to him? Glove cheat, drug cheat, and all kinds of shit. And then after the end of the third fight, he said, I never cheated a day in my life. Meanwhile, he ain't got no boxing license in the UK until recently. This is the bullshit that we're talking about. We're hearing it again. You see, 25 years later, it happened to this man, DeVarryl Williamson. You're hearing it. There's no other explanation for it. The man didn't come on, man. Come on, man. Not even to say hello, happy birthday. Yo, man, you good? Nothing. Right.
Nothing.
And that's why I see the universe is 360 degrees. That's why he stopped fighting earlier than he did. That's why he got in there and got his ass whooped by Vasily Zhirov. That's why his career got halted. God don't like ugly. And he won't
like I mean, like, hey, I get it. Tony Montana said it best. Say, man, like, I mean, like, you know, he had it coming to him. I mean, like, I never screw anybody in my life. I mean, unless, you know, that person had it coming to him. I mean, I feel the same way. I cannot believe that I have not heard from Joe Mesi or his family or, you know, his dad. You know, maybe I hear from his cousin somewhere on social media, something like this, says hello. You know, but it's not him. It's not the kid I raised. It's not the young man I raised. It's not the young man. And you know, you're like, wow. I mean, we was doing an amateur show in Buffalo. I mean, it was a hit. I mean, an amateur show. You know, was fighting. I don't know. It was an international fight or whatever. It was a good, you know, a good situation. Like, come on, man. Joe Mesi, I don't mean anything to you. Let the call, pick the phone up and say anything.
You guys are hearing it first. Now, I
just dropped a
know.
link in the chat for a show that we did on Black history and boxing on the Three Wise Men well over a year ago. I would advise everybody to check that show out because Scrapbook Boxing shares some gems in that when he talks about fighters going from city to city to fight and sometimes having to have a knapsack put over their head so as they were entering the town or whatever, you couldn't see which black fighter he might be and didn't want him to see black fighters hanging from trees from bouts that they either didn't win or were supposed to lose or whatever. And these were circumstances that men fought under. Okay. So when we used to come together for our conversations on the sport, we told the truth. You won't hear this from Larry Merchant and Jim Lampley. You won't hear this from these fools on ESPN or DAZN. Okay, you'll hear it from us because we've taken the time out in our lives to study and to go back and pay homage and also acknowledgement to what has always been a part of the sport. Corruption.
Wow.
Bad corruption. Bad corruption.
You look at boxers.
Thank you.
You look at boxers like politicians, and when I say that, this is what I mean by that. A politician is going to do as much as he needs to do, or as least as he needs to do to be what? Reelected. A fighter is going to do just enough to remain champion. All those fighters say, "Hey man, I'm going to fight this person, fight that person." As soon as they become champion, they find a guy in the B class or the C class, to keep the belt. I mean, so I think that's a rightful segue for Joe Mesi's career to go from boxing to politician. I mean, I think it fits him.
If they can fix him, yeah. I mean, we know it, and the only people that disagree with us are the people that I'm not going to say. Well, there's a lot of that. They root for the fighter that we're questioning by way of tribalism, or there's an unconditional hatred to the fighter that we're defending. And see, what people don't realize is, if we believe a fighter's being cheated, we're going to speak on it. We don't care about his race, culture, or creed. What we care about is the sport.
That's us. That's how we think. But there's a lot of people out there that think they tired of seeing us black people in the game winning, so they want to see lighter people and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Then it gets to be a racial thing where they say one guy straight up said he tired of seeing niggas fighting for championships.
Well, there's nothing they could do about that. You know why? Because every black fighter right now said, "Fuck it, I made my millions. I'm walking away from the game." What would boxing look like?
What mean no boxing? They know it. Well, that's why they went over and tried to grab the Latinos and brought them in and put us together, have us fighting each other. You know what I'm saying? So, so they can have a sport, because if it wasn't if the Latinos didn't come over and was participating in boxing, it'd be almost gone by now.
Well, we talked about, and I played the audio with Cameron Duncan when he talked about what was going on in the top rank offices. No black fighter. Mm-hmm. They had a list of black fighters. We don't want these guys fighting these guys, and that's just the bottom line. And this is true. I didn't make it up. We can look at on the outside and say this is alleged, but when you have Cameron Duncan, who was there for it, and he's explained it. I played the audio on my live streams a couple of times already. He said you can go anywhere in America and ask a white person to throw a jab, and they'll flail like a woman. Then he said you can go to any hood USA and ask a black person to throw a jab, and they'll be flicking a jab out like they've been fighting all their life. And we have. And that's what he said. And he said, they will go to the hood and get a guy and build him and mold him just to sign him to shelve him. Is that not what Eddie Hearn did to King Kong Ortiz? He signed King Kong Ortiz and said, "Yeah, I'm gonna get you an AJ fight." And when it came time for him to get that AJ fight, what happened? It didn't happen. So Ortiz had to get the fuck out of there. And Ortiz,
in the meantime, they take a fighter that they've prepped up there to have a certain image and look in this sport, and have him riding around in a golf cart with orangutans.
With orangutans.
Tell you that he's the heavyweight champion of the world.
Unbelievable.
Get the hell out of here.
Unbelievable. And man, for those of you, I'm not going live tomorrow morning. I got something to do in the morning. But Tuesday morning, please check my live stream, because I got a lot to say. Because now, what's going on with the Ukraine. That war's happening. Bombs are dropping on homes. But they're looking to pardon Vasily Lomachenko and Alexander Usyk just so they can handle their business in the ring. So the war's important, but not quite. If I'm 60 years old with a gun in my hand with carpal tunnel on the front lines, I'm like, why am I not at home with my grandkids? And you're letting this guy go fight a boxing match when he should be here. They letting them. These are the things that they're doing. So they want Usyk to whoop AJ ass. Ding, ding, ding. And they want to throw Lomachenko in the ring with Kambosos to block the Haney fight. If you don't think the world is in cahoots against us, wake up. Wake up. This is what it is. There's no excuse for that not to be happening. We just learned DeVarryl didn't know what the fuck was going on in that Mesi fight. And I know that's not the guy. The guy that we saw fight Klitschko, that was DeVarryl, not Baby Joe Mesi.
And we didn't know that he had a prior history with Joe where he was beating the crap out of Joe behind the scenes that we wouldn't know about, because back then that was honor to not what goes on in the gym stays in the gym. Nobody talks. Okay.
That's right.
And so now we learn that not only did this man who mysteriously defeated him in a professional fight on HBO, but was getting his head handed to him so much that they had to say, no more of y'all working together because you might destroy him totally and everything. So we got to just keep y'all away from each. And then they ask you to come and fight him in a match. And then he comes out on top mysteriously. Man, we cannot make this stuff up.
It's not us.
In the words of my brother Kevin Samuels, you can't make it up.
You can't. You can't make it up. Look, we just learned new information tonight. I had no idea DeVarryl knew this man prior. I had no idea. We just found out tonight. Tonight.
Him and his father. No.
Xavier, Instagram me your email, brother. Or text me your email, Xavier. Text me your email real quick.
Man, this is ridiculous. And see, I try not to get too emotional about it, but my anger comes from and stems from you got quality men out here representing, like DeVarryl. How many others who we haven't spoken to that share something that is connected to what we're talking about? This is freaking ridiculous. And I will say this, the world, just like they're coming together for Vasily Lomachenko and Alexander Usyk, they're trying to come together for them right now. It's the same people that conspired to take the WBC heavyweight championship away from Deontay Wilder. It's the same freaking people.
Yep. Same ones. Same ones. Y'all can't tell me shit, man. Y'all can't tell me anything. Y'all can act like y'all can act like it's just boxing. It's not, man. It's not. I had no idea. Y'all understand how epic this is right now? This is why I love the Sunday show, man. Nobody in this chat knew that DeVarryl knew Baby Joe Mesi. I knew there was some shit with him.
I ain't know him. I raised him.
That's
and
what I'm saying.
Nobody would think that you ain't spoke to him since the fight.
Since the fight.
That's really disconcerting right there.
How would we know that? And this man has not spoken that. He hasn't gone on shows screaming about it. Just another bad day at the office, but he kept that in his heart. Like, why? I thought I was cool with this guy. Why didn't he
reach out?
Yeah, reach out or nothing. Why didn't he do that? And now, are we connecting the dots now? Y'all remember when I played the intro on that fight, and they said that George said that they had to tone down the intro. It was longer than that. The man had fireworks and a banner, and I said, "What the fuck?" I said, "This guy better be good." He got the knockout, but I said, "Man, Williamson better than that." There was the okay, whatever, man. Maybe I swore he took a dive. But I said, "Hey, man, I never thought 25 years later I'm talking to the brother and I'm finding out new information. I did not know this shit."
Do I look fine?
Proves my point.
Do I look fine today? How or am I walking on my heels, or am my speech? It's crazy. I mean, do I look okay?
You're fine.
You're great,
exactly.
man. You're great,
Yep.
and we're happy for you that you're great. But there are some things that come out of this, and I hate to go here, but I'm going to go here. Our brother Deontay Wilder has a permanent dent in the side of his head that has been claimed by his physicians to be inconsistent with any injury in the sport of boxing.
That's right.
But it cannot be explained what he was hit with to indentate the bone in the side of his head just beneath his temple. And I believe it affected his equilibrium, and he no longer has solid punch resistance as a result of that. But whatever was in the other fighter's glove when they faced off caused that damage. And you have to understand that Deontay's been in the hospital for multiple injuries and everything, from burns to broken bones and things of that nature. So he's not even new to injury, okay? But inconsistent with boxing?
That's what we're saying.
That alone is worth somebody doing some time.
That's right. Xavier, what's good, my brother?
Yeah, you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear, brother. How you?
I'm doing great, brother. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. This is my brother, y'all. This is my brother from the West Coast.
Yeah,
Right
how you
on.
doing? Beautiful weather out here. How's everybody?
All right, how you doing? How you doing?
Hold on, let me shut up my dog. Hey, get your ass inside. Yo, man, I had to come on. Hey,
It's animal cruelty, man. We're getting locked
years
up.
ago, brother. I don't jump on the live stream at all, man. But when I saw DeVarryl Williamson, I had to jump on it. I used to spar with DeVarryl many years ago. I don't know if he remembers that. It was many years, probably like 2000, 1999, 2001. I was about 17, 18 years old about the time. I also used to spar with Julian Lederlow, James Toney, it's called Jeremy Williams, all them dudes. And, you know, you guys were talking about all that stuff going on in boxing, man, and that shit needs to stop. You know what I mean? That happens on all avenues and all levels of boxing. I've taken fighters to go fight for $800, and they try to give us 14-ounce gloves while the other guys are getting 8-ounce gloves.
Wow.
So it's like DeVarryl. I mean, a lot of fighters. I mean, we have to look at the gloves from the minute they inspect it to the minute they give it to you, because you don't know what they're giving you. They'll say 10-ounce gloves, but it ain't 10 ounce. You know what I mean? It ain't 10 ounce, and you know we know to bring our own water. It's crazy now. I don't know if you've taken a fighter recently to go fight, but when you go, they inspect your bag. They want to hold on to your bag. Like, nah, you ain't holding on to my bag. You can look at it. You know, you can look at it, but you ain't holding on to my bag. But before, yeah, man, go ahead, look at it. And then they got a guy that goes with you from the dressing room. He's like pretty much like your chauffeur in a way, kind of like a bodyguard.
Yeah, when you go to the bathroom, he's hanging out with you with the red jacket. Yes.
Yeah. And you know, one time I almost got suspended for just bringing some aspirin because I had a headache because we was in Vegas where I got drunk the night before, and I just you know what I mean. I had a hangover. He took my aspirin out. You know, I mean, it's just like drugs, and dude, it's just Tylenol. You know what I mean? And you know, we would for cuts we use that the
1000.
The 1000.
Yeah.
So a lot of people they had a lot of stuff in that. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Yeah, they had a lot of stuff in that they shouldn't be giving these fighters. But you know, like it's crazy when you guys talk about the whole stuff that's going on, like with Wilder and what happened with you, DeVarryl. I mean, it happens on every level of boxing. Even these like local shows that they have at like parking lots. You know what I mean? It happens at every level.
Xavier, excuse me, not to interrupt you, but just to go along with what you're stating, it happens on every level. Did you see our show that we did here when we talked to Michael Fox?
Yeah, I watch most of your shows. I try to see every single one of them.
That is a perfect example, man. And that was just months ago.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, it ain't gonna stop, brother. It ain't. This boxing is a business. If you got a guy like per se, like I was just sitting on the chat a little while ago. Who's to say that Virgil Ortiz wasn't poisoned and had that problem? Because the other guy's undefeated. You know, they look like they're gonna try to move him up, and maybe they thought, man, this can't beat Virgil. Last minute, you know what I mean? Maybe they, I don't know Virgil like that, but from what I see, he seems like a pretty stand-up guy, right? He hasn't really ever pulled. He's not like a Ryan Garcia. He's never really pulled out of fights. So I was really shocked and he said something in his blood. I'm like, holy shit.
And let us not forget, he's not with the Garcia camp anymore, where he could be more protected because the Garcias know what's going on.
The Garcias don't let nobody in. Look, dude.
Thank you. So I wanted you to say it. You understand?
Like they don't let nobody in their camp. You know what I mean? They actually used to be out in Oxnard. It's like about an hour from me right here. Hold on, that's my dog. It's like an hour from me, right? And they moved out of Oxnard because they didn't trust their own people out there. And they moved to a place like similar to what you would call the Poconos out in New York, right?
Right.
And it's called Riverside. And they're like an undisclosed place. They don't let any outsiders in unless you're Ellie Sekback. And even then, I've been seeing less and less of him over there, right? But I mean,
sometimes you got to do what you got to do to maintain some type of, equal footing, man.
I mean, you got to protect your brand. You know what I mean? And when I say your brand, is as a trainer, you have to protect yourself. And this is gonna sound really weird, but you gotta protect yourself before you protect the fighter, because the fighter, he's gonna probably one day pick up and go to another trainer. You still gotta train fighters, so you gotta keep your name. I mean, all we got is our word. You know what I mean? You gotta keep your name clean in the game, because if you don't, then you ain't gonna have fighters come for you. Come train with you. You know what I mean? I mean, that's the reality of it. I mean, I think DeVarryl, I mean, you may agree with me, and this is gonna sound really fucked up, but coming from a trainer, like I mean, fighters are like whores, man. They get you for everything they can. They go somewhere else. You know,
that's a fact. No, that's a fact. I mean, it's like they change gyms all the time. They change. I mean, they change clothes. They change trainers like they change clothes.
But I've had guys that literally I've taken into my own home, and they can spend the night at my house while my kids run around and not pay me fight night. And this is they leave, like I'll go like run to get something from because they give you travel expense money, so I'll go chase the promoter for it, right? When I come back to give my money, the dude is gone.
Oh man.
So it's like bad things don't just happen to the fighters. A lot of it happens to the trainers.
I mean, it's all about the whole game. Is all.
Yeah. And I'll tell you guys, it's one of the reasons why I've made the choices that I've made, because I could have made a heavy impact in the sport myself, but I chose to refrain and be on the outskirts because I see what my mentor has gone through, and I'm like, I don't want that for me. I don't want that for me.
Yeah, I've been in there and I've seen where things are done. I had things done to me, and I said, it's somebody's got to come in the game and clean this thing up a little bit. At least allow these fighters to try to make some money. So who's going to help them if not us? So I chose to try to help. I chose to try to change things. You know what I'm saying? It may take a while, but I'm going to get it done. At least I'll make a little dent.
I mean, I'm not saying I give up on the sport, but this sport ain't like any other sport. Like, put it this way, if all of us wanted to go pro today, we can. There ain't no tryouts. They don't have nobody like, oh no, he don't make the cut. He can't become a pro. No, they can go to pro today. You can't. If my son wanted to go to the NFL, he can't go to the NFL tomorrow. But if he wanted to be a pro, all he's got to be is 18.
And take an HIV test and pay $25.
Yes, sir. That's it.
The majority of the problem with the game is when you got the guys who like you got guys like Floyd Mayweather, you got De La Hoya. They get in the game, they become promoters. Instead of doing the things the right way, they do the same dirt that was done to them. So they just keep the thing going.
Yeah, I mean,
they don't try to change it for the better for the fighters. They look out for their own pockets, just like everybody else is doing.
Bro, I know a lot of promoters, and like I said, I don't ever do this, but like I felt a need to come out and say something because the show was just going in the right direction. I know a lot of promoters that take their fighters out to Tijuana, pay a guy $300, tell him what round to fall on, or just beat them up. They literally probably pick them up the day before and say, "Hey, you fighting tomorrow."
Mm.
And
I've
it
been
happens
watching that my whole career.
Yeah, that happens all the time. If you see a lot of these fighters when they're coming up, a lot of their fights are in TJ or somewhere in Mexico because they can pad the record. You know what I mean? Because if they stay out here, they're gonna have to fight some real competition. You know what I mean? Not to say that they can't compete with it, but if they can get to 15-0, 20-0, then they can get in line to get a title shot, or not even a title shot, but to even fight for a contender, like another contender. Because from what people are used to seeing on regular TV, like HBO or ESPN or Showtime, that's not the reality of boxing. That's just a small fraction of the sport.
Right.
Am I right or wrong, DeVarryl?
No,
No, you're right.
There's a very small fraction. I
Gentlemen,
can name 50 fighters that make decent money in boxing, and there's 10,000 fighters enrolled
I think
in the game
you
today.
named too many.
Yeah, I'm probably naming too many. So it's like a guy like, man, I remember I had a fighter, man. We had to sell tickets to his fight outside the venue. You know what I mean?
Damn.
Sell tickets to he was out there with me selling tickets like a scalper, and then like, oh, the what's called the guy running the show's like, oh, he's got to warm up now. So we went and warmed up real quick, and then he went and fought.
That's crazy.
That is
They
insane.
put you in a little small, like a closet, like you're supposed to be your locker room. Like, you gotta be kidding me.
Bruh, let me tell
Hey,
you.
gentlemen, I gotta take off. Okay, I appreciate everybody's time. Thank you for having me on the show, but I gotta take off. I'm getting blown up over here.
All right.
I didn't know the show was gonna be as long as it was. But my
Yo,
love,
DeVarryl, man,
all
much
love
love
and respect for all y'all.
No doubt. We'll have you back, man.
Thank
Much
you so
respect,
much,
brother.
man.
I hit you
Much
up, man.
respect, brother.
Appreciate
Yes,
your
sir.
time.
Take care.
Thank
Take
you,
care,
man.
Yeah.
So
So
I
yeah,
had one of them little toilet closets they put me in one time when I was fighting, and I was supposed to lose. I ended up knocking the guy out. You know, I got lucky. Got walked into one, and that was the end of it. But yeah, it's fighters get treated really badly at times. You know what I'm saying? The game is rough, and then the problem is the guys that are in position to make a change, they don't give a damn. They just keep trying to make more money.
bro, that's really the reality of what it is. I mean, like I remember when Manny Pacquiao first came out into the scene, right?
Mhm.
They tried to build this thing like the Philippines against Mexico. That was like the billboard there. I don't know if you guys remember that. But every fight that they had a Filipino guy that was like 10-0 or 15-0, they put him in there with a Mexican kid, and they try to make it seem like, oh, the Philippines versus Mexico. But they weren't putting the best Mexican fighter out there. I took a fighter to go fight at the Olympic Auditorium to fight one of these kids from the Philippines. He was 21-0, right? And this guy, he called me like within 2 weeks, like, yo, X, can you help me get ready for this fight? I go, yeah, no problem. I go, who you fight? I want to fight this guy from the Philippines. They're headlining Philippines against Mexico. Mind you, my guy was 5 wins and 26 losses, right?
Oh shit.
It wasn't like he was fighting another guy that was 23-0, right? And there was a lot of fights like that. My guy ended up stunning him, bro, because just because he had 26 losses doesn't mean he didn't know how to fight. He just fought a lot of really good guys. So they headlining a lot of, at that time when he first came out, they headlining a lot of fights like the Philippines versus Mexico. But these Filipino fighters was like 21-0, 30-0, 20-0. These guys were like 5-20 or like you losing records. And I get it, they're trying to build their guy, but they wasn't fighting the best against the best. They were just trying to build it around Manny Pacquiao fighting Barrera, Manny Pacquiao fighting Eric Morales, or them guys, right? So like I said, there's a lot more to boxing than a lot of the stuff that we see on TV. And I think that the world should be, if I care about the sport, I have to come out and say it, because a lot of people don't really see the guys that are making $800 for a 4-rounder or making $1,000 for a 4-rounder. Man, I got a buddy of mine, man. He's one of my best friends. He's 16-0. He just made $3,500, and he had to give up $2,000 of his dollars to his opponent for him to come from Oklahoma to fight him. You know what I mean? So it's this has got to change as far as from the from the top to the bottom, from the guys making money, from the guys not making a lot of money. We need to see the change because not anybody should just be able to turn pro. You know what I mean? And I think just if by fixing that portion right there, we will get the Devin Haney against Kambosos fights. We will get Earl Spence against Terrence Crawford. They will have no choice but to fight each other. You know what I mean? But being that you have 50 guys that make money and 9,550 that don't, you can pay a guy, hey man, you were making 10 grand, we're gonna give you 25. Man, tell me what round to fall in.
To change this sport, you got to get rid of these promoters out there now. You got to get rid of all of them. They all raggedy. They all want the old attitude to keep going on that started back in the day, where they make all the money and nobody else makes nothing. They don't give a damn about the fighters. They don't give a damn about how much money the fighters make until the fighters stand up and say, "Fuck this, we ain't doing this shit no more." You know what I'm saying? You're gonna pay us what we need to get, or fuck boxing.
I mean,
you know what I'm saying? Why get a boxer win a championship? You know, you making money, you win a championship, but you still ain't making the money you supposed to make.
Now you
You're still stealing from me. Then you don't get a piece of shit.
You being a strong
what
point.
you gonna do now? Here it is. I'm champ of the world. I'm making 100, 200,000. You know what I'm saying? Let's say I make $1 million, and then you gotta wait till 3 fights down the line to get the deal where you get a percentage of everything this promoter makes on every show that you're on.
Now you bring a strong point.
You should be getting that from Jump Street.
I would disagree with you.
But they don't do that. You got to sign a contract where you got to fight. You got to defend your title 3 times before you can get a piece of anything.
No, I don't disagree with you, but there is. I mean, yeah, I agree with that. But here's the thing: when a fighter gets paid, he don't get paid from the promoter. He gets paid from the commission. So the fighter gets the money first, and then he distributes it from his manager all the way top up. I've seen a lot of promoters lose money on fighters. Hell, I
got paid by the promoter. I didn't get paid by the commissioner.
Huh?
I never got paid by the commissioner.
No, we get okay. So here in California and in Nevada, we get paid in the dress room that night as soon as the fight is over.
Yeah, when the fight's over, I go back and meet with the I would go to the promoter's office, pick up my check. It would be there, whether the promoter's there or not. I would get my check. You know what I'm saying? As long as I get and pick up my check and that was it. I just pick my check up and get the hell up out of there. I didn't want to talk to nobody. Just give me my money.
So, y'all remember Joel Casamayor?
Yeah, very well.
So he fought in I was there for this fight. He fought in New York against Santa Cruz's brother or cousin, something like that. And the only way the promoter got paid is because he got in front of the commission and said, "Hey, this dude owes me for X amount of fights," right? So when we went back, Joel, because Joel was being trained by Joe Goosen and another buddy of mine. When we went back to get his check, after everything was deducted, because this is the only way the promoter could get his money, he got paid $6,000.
Oh shit!
Ooh.
So
wow.
So think about how many and I'm not trying to say that promoters don't fuck these fighters, but y'all don't understand. Sometimes a lot of these fighters fuck these promoters too. You know what I mean? It go like, dude, like
who fucks promoters?
A lot of fighters do.
How is that?
Well, put it this way. And I'm not talking about
who pays you after the fight. As the fight is done, who pays you? They pay you. You don't pay them.
Well, you have to pay them because who housed you? Who
I don't pay them shit. I ain't never paid no promoter nothing. When after a fight, they pay me. I go pick up my check, and that's the end of that. With them, I don't have to get them shit.
Okay.
I pick up my check and that's it. And I go take it and put it in my bank account. But I don't. But it might be different where you're at, so I can't explain that one. But that's not how we did it.
So let me give you a certain situation, right? I was training a fighter, right? And his promoter put the money up front for me to train him, for me to house him, for him to get all his training expense paid, right? The night of the fight, when they're supposed to disperse the money to everybody, I didn't get paid. I ran to the promoter to get my my what do you call it? My travel money, because I had to go all the way to Bakersfield, right? To work his corner. He gave me my $200. When I came back, dude was gone.
Oh,
Oh, you was doing a different thing than we was doing.
Oh yeah,
That's not
I
what
mean,
we did.
there's a lot of different situations, and I'm not like
Yeah,
I
I
said.
know. That's what I'm saying. It was
disagree
different.
with
It
you.
wasn't the same as we was doing.
Yeah, no, I didn't disagree with you. I'm just saying there's a lot of different situations. What I'm saying.
I understand. I
You know what
agree
I mean?
with you.
I mean, how many? I mean, who's this? Who promoted Paulie Malignaggi all the way up to got a world title fight? Was it DeBella?
to the world against who?
I think it was
Diaz?
against Cotto.
Oh, against Cotto? First of all,
DeBella
I
said
don't
that
remember
he
how
didn't
Paulie
make.
got that fight, but I think that was DeBella.
Yeah, I think DeBella said that he didn't make $1 on Paulie Malignaggi until he fought Miguel Cotto.
Go figure that shit. But
Yeah.
he saw he had a vested interest in Paulie. Wonder why.
I mean, yeah. Yo, listen. There's a
Salute to
guy.
Flyboy Players in that super chat. Much love, brother.
There's a guy who I was really good friends with back in the day. His name is Francisco Bojado.
Francisco Ponchito Bojado.
Yo, man, he was like the next
schooled by
best
Jesse
thing
James.
supposedly.
Yep. Got schooled by James Leha.
I remember
Yeah,
that.
he got
Yep.
schooled. So he jumped from promoter to promoter. He was with Main Events, then he was with America Presents, and then he was with Golden Boy, and he kind of just fucked off all the money, everything. Asked those promoters if they made any money on him. After that fight with Jesse James Leha, he had. I don't really speak ill on people who have drug problems or issues like that, but he had some problems and never heard from him. That's how I say these fighters sometimes they mess these promoters up because they invest so much money. I mean, shit, Oscar De La Hoya. I remember Gary Shaw, I think, paid for his mom's funeral, and then he signed with somebody else.
Shit! What?
Yeah. I want to say,
Yeah, but
Gary
that
Shaw
happens.
or
You know
somebody.
that everybody knows that happens. The guy sign with you and sign with somebody else. But see, the thing about that is, you in a lawsuit, then you got to fight it out in court. You know what I'm saying, and spend more money to get. You know what I'm saying. So it's up to you. It's your choice. Whether you're gonna fight with this thing or you're gonna let the guy go. And the majority of the time, they it's happening to Don King 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, it costs more money to go and fight it, right? No, I get it, but I'm saying like the boxing as a whole, trainers, boxers, promoters, managers, they gotta all go fix themselves.
They all got to fix themselves.
They
So
all gotta go
fucked up.
fix themselves because it's all fucked up, bro. It's all fucked up. Like, to me, to be honest with you, man, I don't really go jump on anyone's live anymore besides Drew. You know what I mean? Because Drew keeps it 100 all the time. You know what I mean? And he's the only guy I watch. And I used to watch some other guys. I stopped watching them after hearing some nonsense from them. But, I just, if we're going to talk boxing, there's got to be guys who, like, how can I say that either been through it or actually know the game, or else I don't really want to talk to them. And I've lost friendships over that shit.
Oh, I know.
You're gonna lose friendships in this game anyway. These
Huh?
motherfuckers is dirty.
Yeah.
No, you
know
don't
what
want
I'm
any
saying?
friends in this game,
So
bro.
when my book come out, my book gonna explain everything about how to deal with a promoter, how to deal with your money, how to protect your money. You know what I'm saying? First of all, number one, know what you're worth.
And
Because
pay
if you
your
don't know
taxes.
what you're worth, they're gonna give you whatever they want to give you.
Hey,
You
let me
gotta
tell
know
you
what you're
something.
worth, so nobody can come to you and say, "Oh, here, this is what we got for you for this fight." This, that, no, that's not what you're gonna give me. You're gonna give me this because you got to know how much money you're worth to go in that fight and take that fight or accept some kind of money, because they ain't gonna try to give you what you're supposed to get. They're gonna try to give you what they want to give you.
100%.
Let me switch gears. It's salute to Lambros K in that super chat. Much love and appreciation. Let me get to here because I have some limited time. Trick, bring everybody up to speed about that Oreo comment that Larry Merchant made. years ago.
Fuck that guy.
Yeah,
Which one? You
I
mean
dropped
when
the
you
link in the
talking
chat room
about when they're talking about how which one are you talking about?
When Larry Merchant made the Oreo cookie comment, the Oreo comment. You had put the link in the chat, Trick?
Larry,
I don't even remember that.
y'all put it in there, but
Damn.
bring it.
You mean when they was talking about too many fighters that look like us is nobody wants to see the fighters that look like us?
Bro, I remember when he said that. Well, you on mute. You on mute, Trick. You on mute. We can't hear you. You on mute. You on mute, Trick.
Hey, who is that talking?
That's Trick
No,
Knowlton.
that was the one that
Oh, Freddie Pendleton. He on the phone. I got him on the phone.
Freddie Pendleton. Okay.
Yeah. Trick, can you hear me? Trick? I can't hear you. Nah, I can't hear you.
Yeah, I can't remember that joint.
Stormy, you remember that Oreo comment that Larry Merchant made?
Yeah, what was it? Mills Lane or somebody in between the two fighters. It was Lennox Lewis and he was like, "Oh, he looks like an Oreo out there, standing between the two guys." And I mean, it just came out of nowhere. He said this, that was again, stuff that Larry Merchant was allowed to say and in a manner to behave and was never held accountable.
Never.
Yeah.
Nah, man, I never liked Larry. Didn't care for Jim Lampley. I actually got into Jim Lampley outside of Staples Center once.
I'll share this because Drew talked about this recently on one of his morning shows. Because I wrote about it in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
When Hector Camacho was fighting Greg Haugen on HBO.
Oh, I remember that.
He did his opening soliloquy where he talks about the fighters and he says, people want to know, why is that weasel Hector Camacho getting $2 or $3 million, whatever his purse was for the fight or whatever? And he's like trying to talk about why is Camacho making that kind of money. And, it's like being insulting, basically.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
When Camacho won the fight, he said, yeah, we're out here. And he said, and even though you called me a weasel, and Larry Merchant said, oh, I didn't call. He was like, yes, you did, Larry. Yes, you did. Called him out on the air, and I loved it because Camacho was smart enough to allow the real him come out in that moment and not keep a lid on it or whatever. But Larry Merchant needed to be punched in the face.
Long
being
time
disrespectful to these fighters, man.
Yo,
and he got so elevated behind this stuff. When he said to Floyd Mayweather, if I was 50 years younger, I'd kick your ass.
Yeah, that was great. Yeah,
he should have never been able to be on TV.
If he was 50 years younger, he got his ass whooped again.
He shouldn't have never been able to be on TV or speak as a journalist or whatever again, because he broke all
the rules.
Disciplines.
Bro, I remember.
Now,
Larry Merchant,
what would happen if Floyd threatened him?
Oh, he'd have went to jail again.
He would have went to jail. He would have been sued and everything.
I remember Larry Merchant, right? Y'all remember a fighter named Fernando Vargas?
Yes, of course.
Of course.
Remember Fernando.
Okay, so Fernando, he wasn't very much liked by a lot of people over at HBO. And I remember one time we was in Reno, Nevada. Was it Reno? No, it was in Vegas. And I remember we were at a bar. Larry Merchant was doing an interview there, and he calls Fernando the hip hop of Mexican boxing. And I turned around. I'm a little drunk, right? And you know me, Drew. When I'm a little drunk, I'm ignorant. I turned around and go, what does this white man
just
say?
A little bit.
I'm like, what does this white man say? I go, dude, give this dude his Prozac, get him the fuck up out of here. You know what I mean? He called Fernando the hip hop of Mexican boxing, and he said that Fernando was using the whole Oscar. I guess Oscar disrespected Fernando when they was coming up, which is actually true. And Fernando said, I'm gonna whoop his ass one day. And I guess Larry said, oh, he's just saying that to get a fight and make some money. I guess the saying today is payday.
You want payday? Yeah.
So, but they don't know that was actual. Fernando, that was his idol. And when that happened, Oscar was feeling himself some type of way. So I remember when he called him, I'm like, wow, he must really feel some type of way about him. You know what I mean? And when Fernando lost to, Trinidad, I mean, Larry Merchant was the happiest guy alive, and I'm not even going to touch on, I'm going to touch on it. On Tito Cheeto Trinidad.
Cheeto Trinidad. Cheeto.
Because, I mean, hey, I'm just keeping it 100, dude. You know what I mean? But after that, he was wanted Oscar to knock him out. When Oscar knocked him out, he was happy. I mean, the guy, he is who he is and whatever.
They wanted so bad to see Roy Jones lose.
Oh, 100%.
The Montel Griffin fight, when Roy hit him while he was down and everything, Jim Lampley got up and ran over to the officials and said he should be disqualified.
Yes.
And all of this. It looked like they were campaigning for Roy to lose the fight.
I'll tell you something
They
better.
didn't like him so much, but he sat next to them and did color commentary. These men are evil. Now,
I'll tell you something even better.
This son of a gun came out of his coffin when Tyson Fury won the fight against Deontay Wilder. He came out of his coffin and said, "Today I woke up with a smile on my face." Yep. Is Deontay Wilder the last Black Hope?
Black Hope.
How does explain to me this? How does Abner Mares and Sean Porter just sit there and take that though?
That was crazy. That's the part that made me throw my
because
boot at the
they're
screen.
Spineless, gutless individuals, man, who have taken the opportunity just to be on television or whatever and sold themselves out. They sold themselves out.
I never like, and the thing is that I don't talk to Abner anymore, but I knew him on a personal level years ago, and he was not that guy. So
he was. He just never showed it to you.
There you go. See, no,
leopards don't change their spots, brother.
No,
never.
There you go.
What it will take is for you to dig to the right area and space to allow the soot to rise to the top.
110%.
As a coach and trainer, that's an A1 thing that you should know when you're working with your charges, because it's going to tell you everything about what they're capable of doing when you ask of them.
Dude, and I want to sit here and say I know a lot about boxing. I do. I've had a lot of experience. I don't know everything because every morning I'm shocked to learn something stupid new in boxing. That's
why with the sport of boxing, your focus should be people.
Yeah. I refuse to learn more about boxing. I know enough already. I don't want to learn any of this new shit.
I've done shows where I break boxing down into different subjects. I got a show where I call it the 5-dimensional fighter. My Tuesday tussle, the 5-dimensional fighter. What that means is this: we have 5 fingers.
Yeah.
We have 5 toes. If you count the head with our extremities, that's 5 points. You have 5 senses. The universe is based on this. So basically, what you're telling us is that people fall into a 5-point category as far as their personality and characteristic traits. When you look at it like that, a person can be a combination of a couple of different traits. Okay, but they don't have to singularly be one. They can be a defined 2, and sometimes in a rare occasion, a possible 3. Yeah. But this is the deepest part of it all. You got 5 senses, right?
Yeah.
But there's something that when you begin to learn life and think outside of the box, what is it called? 6th sense. That's when you're elevating beyond the physical, the spiritual, and all of that. You're rising to a different plane. Most people never get to that level of operation. It's a very small percentage in our society. So when you understand these things and you begin to work within that, you can learn a great deal more. I've often said there's a reason we have 1 mouth and 2 ears.
That is facts on facts on facts, brother.
Shit.
I mean, I feel like I gotta send you a cash app for that. You know what I mean?
Trey, can you hear?
Hey, you know, one of the things I was talking with my wife today, and she's like, "Why do you hate boxing so much and you still watch that shit?" I'm like, "I don't know." I'm like, you know, what is it? What do you call it when a man meets his wife? Or I don't know. I think boxing's Ike Turner and I'm Tina Turner.
Yeah, we keep coming back.
I just keep coming back, bro. I don't understand. Like, I saw this shit last night. What's his name? Beranga or
Edgar Berlanga and Steve Rolls.
they robbed that boy.
You think they robbed Rolls?
That fight.
I'm reading a lot of people saying that.
Rolls won
I'm reading
that
a lot
fight.
of people saying that. All I'm gonna say about Berlanga, and I'm gonna save it. There's no live stream tomorrow morning, y'all, because I got work to do tomorrow. But it's gonna be Tuesday. But with that fight, all I'm reading right now, Berlanga is not the hype is not matching the performance, and I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah,
that's what people are saying.
Did you guys watch this thing with Charlo and Mike Tyson the other day?
I did. I saw it. I did. You know, you try and speak up for people, and it's like, why? Sometimes you're like, why the fuck am I even doing this? Why am I doing this?
Thank you.
Why am I doing this?
And I'll vouch for Drew because I've known him for some years now. He was a big Canelo fan.
Thank you.
He was a big Charlo fan too.
Yep.
And both of them let him down, bro. You know what I mean?
Those
both
guys,
in the worst ways. Both in the worst ways and in different ways.
You know,
with Canelo accepted what they offered him. And that was the deal was to make him the man in boxing without doing anything. That's not to say he's not a good fighter, because he is a good fighter. Mm-hmm. But his path was laid for him and made for him. Well, now, when you look at Charlo, the disappointment with him is he showed us what's really under the surface with him. And he is not who we thought he was. That doesn't mean his brother isn't.
No, his brother's the real deal.
Because his brother is of a different
He's
mindset.
cut from a different cloth.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, they're cut from the same cloth because they're twins. Think about this.
No, I don't
but
care.
He has a different personality.
Different personality.
And
personality,
he revealed the truth about his brother a couple of years ago.
He turned down the Canelo fight.
He said it a couple of years ago, and we didn't listen to him.
Nope.
But Maul is on a different plane, and he don't want it anymore. He is ripe for the pickings, and a real man can go in there and take everything from him. A real man. He talks about lions only. Nah, bruh. It's you only. Huh? Because you're by yourself in this. Your brother doesn't even share the same sentiment. I have never seen a guy show himself openly weak in a sport where there are so many predators around. He may as well turn around, pull his pants down, and bend over.
Yeah.
Because that's what he did to himself.
Let me tell you something.
Can I ask y'all a question?
Yeah, go ahead, bro.
How long do y'all think boxing going at the rate that it's going now?
It's never going to stop, bro.
It's not going to stop because dumbasses like us keep paying attention. We don't know how
to
stop.
I believe me. Let me tell you something. I don't believe that it ain't going to stop. I believe that it will. Because if it keep going down like it's going now and it don't get no better, ain't nobody going to want to watch that shit. I used to watch wrestling every day. Anytime I got a chance to watch wrestling, I watch.
Yeah, and is it over?
I don't even watch wrestling no more.
But is it over?
You know what I'm saying?
It's not exactly right. It's not over.
Then they got the MMA shit out there. I don't even watch that shit no more.
But Freddie, is it over?
I haven't watched a real good fight in years.
But Freddie,
good fight?
It's not over.
Deontay Wilder and Fury was the best.
Well, I'm seeing it just like everything else is fading out. Just like every other sport is fading.
No, it's not.
I don't see people as enthusiastic as they used to be watching fights. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's bragging about this, that, or the other. You got every now only the people like us who care about the damn sport and really, focus on trying to better the sport are really into it.
Freddie, I think what you mean to say.
If the name is big, we'll check it out.
Freddie, I think what
You
you
know what I'm
mean to
saying?
say
And
is
you
our
gotta have
breed
more
of
than that to keep
fans
the
is
sport
dying
going.
out.
Say again, X.
And from what I see, I just see it fading.
Say again,
Freddie, I
Xavier.
think what you mean to say, Freddie, what you mean to say is that our breed of fans is starting to phase out. And the
I agree
new
with that.
Ryan Garcia and Jake Paul fans are starting to come in. That's what you mean to say, because
We're
Boxing
dying
ain't gonna
breed.
stop.
Bums. Them guys ain't gonna be around for a hot minute. Guys like them, they don't have no substance.
You know what it is. You know what it is. We're in a microwave society, and there's a lot of things going on today that we don't identify with. So when we get a Deontay Wilder, a Devin Haney that have old school work ethic. I mean, we say what we want about Floyd Mayweather and Canelo. They have old school work ethic, but the machine pumping these guys are different.
Yeah,
Canelo has a different machine pumping him than Jamel and Jamal and Andre do.
I know, but what I'm saying is, from what Canelo used to be to now, he's making a ton of money, but he's not entertaining people at all, and he's eventually gonna fade out because he hasn't showed me anything. I watched one of his fights, I was bored to death.
bruh.
You know what I'm saying? And he's supposed to be one of the best champions out there. Then I see the Charlo brothers; they are completely boring.
No, the Charlo brothers.
I don't see nothing that's going to get me into a fight. And when I watch it, like I had my kids used to watch fights. When they watch fights with me, you know what I'm saying? They don't even get enthusiastic when they watching a fight. And I talk to some of my friends who watch these fights. They say, "Man, when I'm gonna stay home and watch some boxing for?" Is most of them is boring. You know, it's only one or two big names that I can watch.
Well, the casual fans run things, Freddie, and a lot of these casual fans have ADD. Which is why they like Jake Paul. They anticipate him to knock out somebody he's supposed to knock out.
Y'all been saying Jake Paul. I don't even know who the fuck this
exactly.
But
he's
like,
he's
a
multi-millionaire.
He gonna make a ton of money, but he gonna fade quickly.
Guess what? It don't matter because he's promoting now.
Yeah,
and on a promotion, and he's doing something good. Yeah. That's the crazy part.
I'm shocked.
Doing something good in what way?
Women's boxing.
Taylor and Serrano. He's signing these ladies fight. These women are fighting. I ain't gonna get into it because I'll be another 20.
You talking MMA or boxing?
No, boxing. And he's doing. I don't pay attention to the boxing aspect. I'm paying attention to what he's doing now in the promoting aspect. And what he's done is he's infiltrated. Infiltrated the boxing industry, and he's actually exposing it for how simple this shit really is. When I say simple, not easy, simple. But he's exposing these. He's exposing these promoters and managers for being simpletons. They're being simpletons. And when we're sitting here pointing out the obvious, the casuals' megaphones, which is the internet, they are louder than us because what we say makes sense. But what's being done doesn't. To us, we're like, wait a minute, how could it be this when this is happening? No one cares. No one cares that Deontay was poisoned. No one cares that Devin Haney's being avoided. But Jake Paul got on here, and now we're looking at, hey, Serrano and Taylor, that is a good fight.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? And this is it's weird. We're in bizarro land right now.
Who's ducking Haney?
Huh?
Who's ducking Haney?
Everybody. Yeah, Freddie. I know because Freddie, you don't pay attention to what's going on. But
I stay out of touch with. I haven't been in.
Yeah,
touch with
I know, brother.
What
you do is you tune in to the show Tuesday morning. I'm gonna break it all down again. Because what they're doing with Devin Haney is
you know, ridiculous. I used to train him.
Oh yeah, I know. We spoke on that. I know. And,
y'all hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you, Ant. I can hear you, Ant. We can hear you now. Yeah, hey. I mean the game's all fucked up, and and what drives us crazy.
I'm with you on that.
Oh yeah.
What drives us crazy is that we're here, explaining it, and sometimes it registers to people, but the people that have brains are now the minority because the casuals are the ones with the biggest megaphones. We get drowned out. How the fuck are they forcing Ryan Garcia down our throats? Pause. How are they doing that? And this kid has not done anything. We're still waiting for him to do something. And then they put him on this pedestal like he's a major player at 135. But like, how? He hasn't done anything. How? How is he in this conversation?
You know how. You got the answer already. What's the answer?
What? He's of Mexican descent.
Money.
Money. Yeah, he's worth money.
Money.
Yeah, how?
Yeah, but what money
They
is he
push
bringing,
his
bro?
name because he's gonna bring in the money. He got what color is he?
He's Mexican. Well, he's American.
What color is he?
He's tan. He's brown.
He looks white.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He looks like
They can push him better than they
Daniel
can push
LaRusso
Haney.
from the Karate Kid.
They can make more money off him than Haney. You know what I'm saying? That's why they pushing him over Haney. And they don't want they gonna freeze Haney out for as long as they can. And eventually Haney may get a shot or he may not. But it's not about who you are, it's about what you look like.
Yep.
What color. They want to see the lightest possible. They tired of seeing blacks do anything. They tired of anything that look darker, doing anything positive, so they're trying to freeze you out.
Salute
and
to,
it's crazy.
Salute to Anwar Willis in that super chat. He said salute to the panel. Salute to the chat. Shout out to the mighty LDBC number 36. Make boxing great again.
Hey, I got a question. Y'all hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. Go ahead.
Hey, Xavier, what's going on, man? I got a question.
What's going on, champ?
Why we never got a chance to see Oscar De La Hoya and Jose Luis Lopez?
Man, that is a great freaking question.
And hold on for you answer.
That is a great question. You know what? That's how I know you know boxing, because not a lot of people know who Jose Luis Lopez is.
Say it again.
That's how I know you know boxing. Because not a lot of guys know that guy.
Right?
That dude needs to be put on murderer's row, 110%. They kept him away from Oscar. It was that guy
in the
would have knocked
golden
Oscar
years
out.
too. In the golden years.
Anybody who know boxing knows if you got a chance to beat Oscar, you ain't gonna fight it.
Yo,
I was number one contender.
you and James Page.
Challenger for Oscar De La Hoya.
Exactly. I want to say that too. Yep.
No, matter of fact, I'm wrong. I was champ of the world when I was fighting Rafael Relis.
Dude, I know Rafael. He worked
De
with
La
me.
Hoya next after I beat Relis.
I
knocked
worked with
Relis down
Rafael
4 times and lost my belt because they knew what I was going to do to Oscar De La Hoya. I was going to wrap that boy up like a chewing gum and spit him out.
Y'all
They
remember
didn't want
Keith
nothing to
Mullins?
happen to their golden boy. So what they do, they stole my title after I knocked this guy down 4 times. And he never knocked me down once, but he won my championship.
You remember Keith Mullins?
That's the deal when it comes down to boxing.
Yep.
They want who they want, making money, being in position to fight for championships, and I wasn't one of them.
Yeah.
I was too dark.
Man,
And my record wasn't perfect.
Man, they kept a lot of
So they
fighters
got
from
rid of me
fighters.
and moved him in there. And put this bum up there so Oscar would knock him out, which he did. That's boxing.
I gotta bring this to a close. Stormy had to go. I gotta bring it to a close. I gotta get up early in the morning, man. Freddie, I appreciate you, brother.
I gotta be working 10 o'clock, man. Hey, I gotta go. Xavier, man. I didn't talk to you behind the scenes, man.
About what?
I didn't get with you behind the scenes, man.
Oh, okay. Anytime, man.
I'll text you his number.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you shoot me his number.
Yeah.
Shoot my number. I mean, I'm always on here. Hey, Freddie Pennington, I've been a big fan of you, man. I remember you fighting James Page and a lot of these guys. I mean, I remember Keith Holmes. I mean, a lot of these guys, didn't get the shot at stardom like Oscar. I'm not saying Oscar wasn't a good fighter either. I'm just saying they didn't get the opportunities that a lot of these dudes did. You know what I mean? There's a reason why they put David Reed and Trinidad in there. I mean, David Reed and Fernando Vargas in there with Trinidad too soon. They didn't want him to derail the Oscar train. You know what I'm saying? But that's a whole different other story, bro. I mean, when we talk about poison, Fernando got poisoned in that Oscar fight, and there's video of it out there.
Bro, I gotta bring you back for that because I gotta bring you back for that because no one knows that. No one knows that. We talking about poisoning. Fernando Vargas got poisoned before the Tito Trinidad fight. I'll bring you back for that, Xavier.
You didn't know that? Man, that's been going on for a long time.
but yo, I'm gonna run out of here. Xavier, I'm gonna holler at you. I'm gonna text you. I'm gonna text Trick your number.
Put me in a group chat with him.
All right, bet. That's what I'll do. Freddie, I'm gonna holler at you, brother.
Yo.
All right,
y'all. Peace.
Hey,
shoot me his number, Drew. All right, y'all.
I'll do that.
I'm out.
All right, now. Yo, y'all. Another great show, man. I mean, we didn't know, we had no idea that that DeVarryl Williamson knew. We had no idea that he knew Baby Joe Mesi. I had no idea until tonight. And I'm like, wait a minute, y'all knew each other? And then he didn't get no phone calls. Y'all go back and look at the fight. If you can get through the intro. Remember I played it on here for you? I said, wow, with the hype behind it. Remember when George stood up here and said, hey man, you know, he said, hey man, that intro was toned down because it was longer than that. And I was like, wow, was this guy the next big thing? And I wasn't impressed. And now, 25 years later, DeVarryl said he didn't feel right, so much to the point we had to go see, like, did he say a psychiatrist, a sports psychologist, a psychiatrist, whatever? Because he couldn't figure out what's going on. All of this stuff is relevant. Then he don't get no calls from a guy that he basically said he raised, took him all around the world, boxing and shit, but used to whip his ass. Then he gets on HBO. And hold on, bro. And then he gets on HBO and gets steamrolled. Nothing makes sense, y'all. That's why I love the Sunday show. We always find out something. That's why I like talking to the classic guys. This is why, family. This is why. We didn't know that. And we always hear that, man. So, you know, you already know what it is. Bronx on deck. No show tomorrow. Tomorrow morning, I got something to do early. But I'll be back Tuesday. And I have a rant because it's all bullshit. You know, we love boxing, but it hates us, and we just keep coming back like battered spouses. So Triller's on. Let's head over there and keep the machine rolling. Much love and appreciation. Y'all make sure y'all subscribe to the Painful Excellence podcast. You know what I mean? And we good, man. Much love and appreciation. Bronx on deck. I see y'all.